here we are. The latest project in the driveway is the 1990 1500 Chevy that I mentioned before. It's been sitting for a while. I don't know how long, a year or two maybe. It does run. It needs a clutch. Well, they said it needs a clutch, and they bought a clutch for it even. In fact, then they just let it sit, then they needed to get rid of it, so they called me up. They're like, hey, you want this thing? It actually probably doesn't need a clutch. I'll go into that in another video, but yeah, it's having an issue with the clutch disengaging. So that's not the clutch. More than likely, it's the slave cylinder or the master cylinder on this, because it's got a hydraulic clutch. But anyways, as you can see, it's pretty rough. It does have the V6, the 4.3 liter in it. Oh yeah, there it is. Loads of power. Looks to have apparently a fairly new alternator. That alternator looks pretty shiny to me. I threw a new battery in it. It does crank right up. Runs pretty decently. Not the best, but it has an oxygen sensor that's not even hooked up, I found out when I was under it today. So yeah, it's got some issues. It has a pretty decent capper and moss, because, well, it rains hundreds of inches a year, and it's been sitting. Comes with some goodies in the back. Pretty rough in here. Tools everywhere. Mold's been growing. All the usual things. I'll get this all cleaned out, get it fixed up. But yeah, 4-speed with overdrive. They had lost the keys for it, so I did stick. Need some hinge pins on those doors. I did stick a new ignition in it. I'll post that video up in a little bit. How to replace that ignition switch. Just took the column apart, but you know, it's rusty, but overall it's not bad. It's got some really good looking tread on it, fairly new tires. You know, not a bad truck. I already got a guy who I mentioned to him I was picking this thing up and just fixing it and getting rid of it. And he wants it. Like he needs a truck for just beating around town and pulling trailers and junk, and it's got a reese hitch on the back, so you know, be good to go. So there's the latest project. I'll be throwing some videos up when we fix the clutch, and the one on the ignition switch, and whatever else find wrong with this thing. I don't think there's going to be a whole lot, and I'll show you it when it's all shiny on the inside and cleaned up and vacuumed out and all that jazz.